This video is intended to describe a light-blade talisman named Abundance, which is actually an exotic derivative of the tried and true transmutation platform seen here. The aspect of the transmutation platform's signature vibration output is the combination of smoky quartz and hematite in a closed-loop circuit in the same ignition sequence. Hence, it's a very common and utilized platform that goes in wide distribution for its sheer simple effectivity to insulate and ground excess energy into the earth plane for reprocessing. And yes, this is my crude chakra map I'll be using as a visual cue. So the basic blade banding consisting of smoky quartz and hematite. Smoky quartz makes a very powerful grounding of excess energies through the base into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. I'll be saying that at least thrice more times in this video, describing its connotation of its primary focus. Hematite's an iron-based metal that's very powerfully grounding for all radial stray energies right through the base, into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. So the ignition sequence combination of the two is a very, very effective complementary grounding, insulating, etheric shield by primarily tapping all the excess energies right into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. So you can think of any kind of radial and bombarding impact energy having a strong ground so nothing really sticks, almost like etheric Teflon, if you would. So that would be the transmutation ratio continuing like so into this lateral band, up the sides of blade banding, as well as right here closing the circuit. So the entire primary blade banding of the energy running through this entire system has the closed loop circuit of the transmutation that everything else built upon. And hence I mentioned this is a highly exotic variant of this tried and true platform named Abundance. This also has the secondary blade banding where the necklace actually hangs in right here, being of one of the more idyllic abundance spectrum generators. Consisting of emerald, a very impeccable green ray heart activation stone of royalty for a very good reason and notoriety in human morphic field utilization of metaphysics. Due to its capacity to be an impeccable receptive green ray heart opener and a more fiscal abundant aspect of practicality needs. Clear quartz to be a neutral subcapacitation to accelerate the energy into peridot. Peridot is a lovely stone of abundance as well. It has a strong stimulation to the third and fourth chakras that highly stimulates the heart and will unison manifestation ratio, and is very much a high blessing heart opener. So you can think of the combination of the two green ray stones working in tandem as a very powerful wavelength change to the receptive abundant spectrum, which is obviously engineered to manifest as a physical alteration in a most beneficent way. And up here, the main engine is golden healer quartz. So all this entire circuitry runs through this one central engine right here of golden healer quartz, which is an impeccable gold white light Christ frequency higher heart activator that connects to source. So that's a very critical component to having the source resonance through such a grounded filter for practical results. Is critical to have like that source dose right there so that the rest of the little mainframe has a circuit aspect right here. So obviously all stones mentioned here will be intangibly utilized to be grounded in a single primary wire to have a closed loop circuit reactive system. Okay. At the very tip right here at the apex of the blade band underneath this blue lace agate is fulgurite. Fulgurite is actually the product of lightning striking sand. So it carries that energy of lightning energy right crystallized into a sand structure, which in application is a very powerful stimulant to the entire chakra column from the ground up, the entire way through, as well as a lateral stimulant to the entire light body in unison. And utilized by First Nation tribes of antiquity for its power of intensifying intention or prayer maxification. Now at this point, I'm being very creative, making up words. Anyhow, the aspect of lightning is a very powerful, intensive broadcast, which is highly intense for manifestation purposes, hence its utilization in abundance intentional broadcast to the universe or spirit, was critical for its true successful intended design. And, oh yes, and also, of course, lightning is a very powerful Kundalini stimulant due to its unified field of 7 rays being basically highly blasted through. But the aspect also of containing that lightning in a safe format is the transmutation ratio being the platform, which is already a very strong grounding aspect. So this is actually worth notarizing in this description video, is that all these other frequencies that are added to this one central platform have a very strong grounding insulation impact. So you can think of all these exotic variables having most primarily through the primary blade band being the contact patch through the base into the Earth stars, into the Earth Marine matrix for reprocessing, which of course is a powerful transmutation of energy through constant safe arcing of energy, but also, most importantly, taking all these exotic variants of these crystals in this one structure makes a very strong concentrated contact patch. So you can think of all the other aspects being auxiliary frequency buffers for the primary directive to make this abundance real and tangible is the priority goal of this device. Okay, that's enough of a rant, segue, dissertation. This right here, to really stabilize the energy of this entire platform, is a large concentration of blue lace agate, which is the most impeccable 5th chakra stabilizer in the mineral kingdom. The utilization at a large dose for this frequency was intentional by an aspect of having a stabilized 5th chakra is a very stabilized higher truth center. You can think of the excess energies of the entire energy field going literally to the bottleneck where the energies from the right and left side condense right at the neck and the throat. So having a stabilized 5th chakra is a very effective way to be able to sustain a higher frequency template with clarity and truth. So that's a critical component for a very successful ratio of this intended design, and to most importantly also have the clarity of the truth stabilize the fifth, so one's in their truth sphere centers that transcends any electromagnetic interference that would interfere with one's higher perception truth of reality in the insulated field. So this entire blade face right here has a heavy 5th ray concentration to really augment that central aspect of the stabilized truth. This right above this is the legendary turquoise, utilized by everybody across the world pretty much since time immemorial for a very good reason, and a stone of favorites of many millions of souls, I'm sure by now, after how long this stone's been in distribution for metaphysical purposes. For a good reason. Turquoise is a stone of wholeness because it actually embodies the aspects of earth, fire, water, and wind in a 5th ray clarity focus, which is really quite something. That's very much a stone of wholeness, unity, and as well as just being in one's higher truth is critical for that turquoise. So next, to augment the blue ray side right here is Larimar. Larimar is a lovely stone that is very potent for the 5th and 6th stabilization, but also mostly the clearing and soothing. You can think of this frequency as being an oasis of calm generator and a very powerful voice projector, and most importantly, very soothing to the truth centers of the stimulation of the 5th, of who one really is, in tandem with their mental centers, their mental body, to be in a calm, centered aspect of their true divine nature is one of the goals of that guy. Then right here, next to that, would be Tanzanite. Tanzanite is a blue ray stone that is perhaps the most effective heart-mind coherence linker in the entire mineral kingdom, stimulating the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakra for a connection point right here to really have a very impactful heart-mind coherence transference. So that stone right there is quite the winner in any kind of metaphysical endeavors to really have a crystalline solution to the quest of the heart-mind coherence is obviously very advantageous for expedited evolution. Okay, on the back side right here is the lovely Seraphinite. Seraphinite is a green ray stone named after the Seraphim Archangels. It's perhaps one of the more potent cellular healers in the crystalline kingdom in this timeline that has auspiciously showed up for the Age of Aquarius, if you would. So the Seraphinite is a very powerful green ray stimulant that actually has the entire chakra column stimulation of any kind of outmodeled patterns of a basically lower template frequency, compromising the vibratory output of the perfected idyllic light body grounding into the physical. That was kind of a mouthful. But anyhow, that aspect of the Seraphinite is quite critical in its design to really outmodel any green ray, heart, abundant patterns that would be not in alignment with one's higher spiritual self. So that aspect of the Seraphinite is quite very soothing to the energy body because it actually engages the entire I am calm as a unified field and works to dismantle any impediments of a fully grounding functional light body grounding through the conscious self in a very soothing, calming, healing way. Amazing stone. Okay. Next to amazing stones like that would be the legendary Moldavite right here. Moldavite is known as a green ray stone of storm elemental composition that came from the stars. And it's a very powerful stone of synchronicity and magic, and is rather intense, and has gained quite a bit of notoriety or even infamy in this timeline for being a very powerful cosmic stone that can be rather destructive to the false self template matrix, which changes one's life to their highest configuration, which can be seen as a chaotic death of the alt model patterns. So obviously, with that being said, with the multiply being engaged in such a complex subroutine, the intention of that, of course, is to mitigate all the undesired chaotic results of one's highest template fully manifesting in life as their false self matrix is dismantled by having the stabilization, the grounding, which I'll get further into in the hood section, which will explain more of its getting the most out of it while mitigating the chaotic undesired effects of growing pains, quite simply. And next to that right there is the legendary Libyan gold tektite, a lesser known cousin to moldavite. Libyan gold tektite was a stone utilized by the pharaohic caste or pharaohs of Egypt to be in the central power breastplates of their god-king regalia, basically. So that aspect is pretty cool, but the aspect of why it's utilized in this device is a very powerful abundance manifestation, higher intention generator. So you could think of the Libyan gold tektite being a very powerful stimulant to the solar plexus in tandem with the sacrum, a very high fire energy output. Yet, the illumination of this extraterrestrial energy also works to embody the entire chakra column stimulation as a whole. So you can see that being very powerful for manifestation, as well as particularly manifestation of one's highest template path as smooth as possible on the template to manifest as the reality being experienced. Quite simply in that regard. And to further keep that higher true spiritual perspective in alignment is the lovely lapis lazuli, another stone of ancient Egyptian utilization for magical purposes. Lapis has a very strong stimulant to the 5th and 6th chakras in tandem, and is a very powerful stone for higher mind psychic activation, as well as any kind of clairs, of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. They're all capacities of the neural pathways of the right and left hemispheres in alignment. So that aspect right there makes lapis quite a prized metaphysical stone for time and millennia for, once again, a very good reason. And before I continue on to this section where this brown leather will be installed, I will discuss the selenite and black kyanites on this main blade face. Selenite is a very prominent stone to be utilized in virtually all light tech that goes through my hands into distribution for a very good reason. It takes the entire frequency output, closing the circuit. It harmonizes, purifies, and accelerates the entire wavelength. So you can think of it as a perpetually self-clearing aspect as well for the entire crystalline structure running through its circuit. And most importantly, though, is also the harmonization and amplification to make this a truly effective metaphysical device in practicality is critical with that aspect. Also works as a perfect antithesis of activating the higher chakras for transmutation of the template. For the 6th, 7th, and non-physical chakras, all the way up to the higher self templates, it's a very powerful gateway key to the higher self reality, grounding the two-way connection with the conscious self of the wielder of this device. And then to get the most out of that is black kyanite on both sides of the selenite. So this, since it's a transmutation derivative device, it only has one format of kyanite to ensure the contact patch's energy has a very strong directional grounding point. Black kyanite is one of the more reactive automatic grounders in the mineral kingdom that's very energy requirement reactive. So you can think of the black kyanites particularly constantly working on overtime to bridge through the base into the Earth stars, into the Earth Marine Matrix for processing under any circumstance. So that's a very quick, constant grounder. So the black kyanite is a very powerful way to actually take this energy and channel it. So that's why the focus of black kyanite, primarily in this device by itself, without the other kyanites included, is intentionally to take this entire abundance frequency overlap and make sure it's a solidified, grounded contact patch at a very rapid rate to always ground all this excess energy at a constant rate through the body into reality to make it more real and magical. Tangible magic, if you would. Okay. I'm going to tackle the hood section now. So this section right here will actually have brown leather, which will work as color therapy to have the brown grounded energy as the energy runs through the circuit to be a color therapy augmentation, as well as a insulation to insulate the sensitive crystals in here, as well as a protector to actually keep all these subtle crystals stacked together in a very protected format for the durability of wielding this device in the field, if you would. So I'm going to get into the agates and jaspers as one part of the tangent to keep a streamline of thought engaged. First of all, just like this blue lace agate, all agates and jaspers are the most stabilized variety of the vibrations in the mineral kingdom. So the utilization of the agates in all the spectrums is quite critical for a stabilized, true etheric shift of reality, if you would, which also works as a perfect buffer to diffuse the elemental spectrums of this entire frequency overlap in a very stabilized manner of earth, fire, water, and wind. Which is obviously perpetual wholeness and harmony vibration is one of the keys for successful, long-term, productive, spiritual, beneficent gains. Okay, so red jasper right here is the red ray stabilizer right here that strongly stabilizes the root chakra, which is very, very, very nice for physical strength as well as just a healthy, energetic body through strong, energetic stabilization. Fire agate right here is a strong stabilizer stimulant to the base, sacrum, and solar plexus in tandem. So it's a very lovely zest for life, enthusiasm, energy in a more stabilized, controlled fire format. Then back to the other agates. So right here, switching into the water ratio would be moss green agate. Moss green agate has a very lovely green ray stabilization water element to the heart chakra, which is very, very also, of course, intrinsic for stabilizing one's ratio to their highest self template, or put simply, kind of like a stabilization to their factory settings before the imprintations this life being a human has offered to obscure one's truest, highest nature, which is basically being a human. Everybody watching this can laugh about that and understand that, yes, being a human is quite the arduous task, and a lot of things happen to us that really can obscure our direct heart connection with our factory template. That's just kind of the aim of the game. Okay, moving on. I described the blue lace agate in great detail, which is a critical component for this entire device. Hence, it's in a larger concentration for a already described larger purpose. Okay, and to round out the elemental spectrum, right here is the rare and lovely holly blue agate, which comes from one mine in northern Oregon. Luckily, I have great access to this particular rare stone for this whole elemental spectrum. So holly blue agate is a very strong stabilizer of the 6th and 7th chakras, which of course is stabilized mind coherence device. So, like I digressed, the unified combination of the agates and jasper, for that matter, are the most stabilized spectrum broadcast for the entire chakra column, is the one of the more impeccable, sustainable, stabilized formats for a productive energy device to be a lovely background filter governor for a higher timeline manifest in a more stable fashion, which is stability is key, in my humble opinion, with all these metaphysical endeavors. And to further keep the energy clear and clean is the famous shungite, a stone that's rather in vogue in this timeline due to its great notoriety for mitigating and deflecting EMF 5G waves in this timeline. And on that note, also, it's a very powerful etheric purification insulator, like a charcoal filter, if you would. So you can think of another aspect of a black-gray carbon-based concentration stone, filtering any kind of incoming radial energies to be filtered, charcoaled, and then once again, just like the primary blade bend focus, discharged through the system by completing the circuit to constantly have an arc ground to make a very safe bypass for all radial energies. This is hence why the transmutation devices are very effective for what they are designed to do. And there's wide distribution for that purpose, just based on sheer practical effectivity. And right here, another lovely antithesis to all this black-gray grounding energy is white scolecite. Scolecite is a wind elemental stone that's a lovely 6th, 7th higher chakra activator that puts one in touch with their divine centers or divine mind witness perspective, as well as on a more physical pragmatic level, a very good serotonin neurochemistry balancer, for example. So lovely stone of divinity right there. And it's very powerful for inner peace of a peaceful mind in that aspect. So it's a white, lovely stone of divinity, quite simply. And circling back through, okay, so for more heart-mind coherence, this right here is zoisite. Zoisite actually is a green ray cousin to the tanzanite. Technically, scientifically speaking, tanzanite is called blue zoisite, but that's a whole long story to get into. It's been marketed, so its trade name is Tanzanite, but it is indeed blue sodacite. So its green ray cousin, just like the Tanzanite, has a very powerful heart-mind coherence stimulant. Once again, it's another fortification for the heart-mind coherence, and if that goal is ever achieved in anybody, it's always a worthwhile endeavor. So that's another frequency to perpetuate that subtle heart-mind coherence, so that one's truth is always on tap with who and what they really are and what they're doing in creation is a prerogative, obviously. Okay. Then right here is the lovely black tektite. Black tektite is just like fulgurite, a product of a meteorite, oftentimes nickel iron, impacting sand, catching that cosmic extraterrestrial jolt into reality. And hence it's a lovely black ray stone, which means that cosmic energy imprintation has a very strong ground up connotation, which is very powerful for stimulating the entire chakra column with the extraterrestrial energy. But luckily, like I said, it's a black ray connotation, which means the excess energy going up the entire chakra column is a very ground up from the earth energy stimulant, which is, of course, very complementary to the entire field's intentional broadcast, to raise vibrations, quite simply. And right here are two pink ray stones of higher heart activation. I give for Clem just talking about them, obviously. This is the lovely and famous rose quartz. Rose quartz, of course, is a higher heart pink ray divine love activator aligner stone. But in combination with the kunzite is another pink ray stone, but it's actually a lithium-based stone that has a very soothing, calming energy through the entire matrix, so stimulation-wise. So the combination of those two really have a strong heart-opening, heart-soothing tandem engagement. Okay, well, I believe that actually would be the entire crystalline composition described in detail, as well as the core itself is oak from my lovely backyard to be a very dense atomical structure to make alignments to have this energy platform be more sturdy, stable, and strong based on the strength of the atomical structure of oak wood. And that would be the entire conclusion of this device right there. So in summary, just like the transmutation platform seen in a wand variant right here, it has a very strong shielding, grounding energy that really grounds through the excess energies, makes a radial shield, so it has a very safe bypass for receptive energy to make a very strong ground, so that in theory, in practice, this platform makes a very powerful etheric discharge that actually insulates the field. Like once again, I'll mention the etheric Teflon concept, where the incoming energy filters so quickly that it discharges that nothing sticks to compromise the energy system. This is exactly why this platform has been developed, and like I mentioned thrice so far, it has been in wide distribution for the simplicity and effectivity of a vibratory device. And hence, taking the platform of transmutation, a very tried and true platform with great success in distribution, and then adding a very strong complex subroutine to its primary focus was a very effective foray in having a very practical, grounded, insulated abundance generator, primarily, like I mentioned, the secondary blade band, which actually, of course, when in play, is going to be vertical in alignment with the chakra column, so the distribution of that energy will be a quick cycling, running like so, with the primary focus up here, direct contact in alignment with the column to engage that green ray energy ingestion throughout the entire field, aka manifesting a different reality. So that would be it. That would be abundance in a very just grounded, transmuted platform with a great exotic variation. That would cover everything. 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.